Good morning, Ruth, and welcome to my second verification video. I started out the same way, opening app from the phone screen, in case that was pertinent at all. Alright, so we want to look at Perfect Dragonites and Machamps. I don't know that I have very many, but happy to share them. I have just the one. Got that in Tampa last year. I honestly don't even remember getting it. Just was in Tampa. Might have been weather boosted when I was catching Pokemon. So there's my one. And Machamp. I might have two, if that one's lucky trade, as you can see there. And then this guy. Got that in St. Pete, which is pretty much my main grinding place. Real cool story about this one, actually. So, a group of family friends are also on the same team as me, which is Team Mystic. And as you know, I like to take Pokemon gyms. So, the mom and all four of her sons play Pokemon Go. And we were actually taking a gym, and the Machamp spawned, or the Machop, spawned right there. And this was when appraisals were out, but it was 100%. And so we all caught it. It was just while taking gyms, very cool. Not a big fan of maps or anything like that. I've used them in the past, like forever ago, but lately I don't. Just a personal preference. I know it's sometimes a hot topic on if people want to use them or not. So I choose not to, and I'm okay with that. Especially since trading and research has come into the game. I feel like if you really want 100% of anything, you can pretty much grind for it, and you'll get one eventually. Or at least one close enough. And perfects really aren't as important as they are outside of raids. PvP, generally, perfects aren't necessary. So, speaking of trades, it's a good segue into the Groudon and Dialga you were asking about. As I mentioned, I'll start with the Dialga because that one was pretty cool. So I had been working on doing the best I could to complete my Lucky Pokedex, and I didn't have a Dialga at the time. You know, I try to do the one special trade a day with local friends and whatnot to try and get better rolls, and Sandra is a local. You can see she got it from a raid in Clearwater, which is just north up in Ellis Park. So that I asked for a Dialga, and this is what I got. Very happy with it. I like using it on the rocket stops. And I gave him the second move, too. And Crimson is a local person. I always encourage people, when possible, to do the special trades every day. Try and get a better roll. And in this case, while not lucky, 100%, she got it in Tampa. And I met up with her grinding during Community Day in St. Pete. And so we did a trade. But that was pretty much it. That's my only perfect Groudon, actually, as well. And same with Dialga. As I mentioned in my previous video, I don't do a lot of raids because I'm free to play. So getting rerolls on good legendaries for raiding is always welcome. So we'll go to the Kangaskhan's, Tropius, and Chadots. I think I only have one Tropius and one Chadot left. I kept the Luckies that I got. So this Chadot I got from a gentleman who had been visiting Tampa. His wife is originally from Tampa, and he's originally from Australia. And he had caught some Chadots, and he was here visiting during the winter time. And a buddy of mine knew I was looking for lucky Chadots. He happened to not have done the 10 lucky trades, so I gave him an old Pokemon and got that as my dex entry. So that's pretty cool. But I only kept the one, as you can see there. And same with the Tropius. I probably mentioned this in the prior video as well. My buddy Spartan GL, who's Joey Walters, also in the 100 mil, and I believe the Verified Club as well, went to the Japan Safari Zone. I want to say it was 2018. Oh, yeah, based on the date, 2018. So Got the Lucky Tropius from him. Lucky Trade. I'll actually show you on my friends list. We try to interact every day when we can. He lives in Clearwater as well. There he is. And I actually do, despite liking to grind friendship, I do have a lot of best friends that are all local people. And you can see I even have some lucky friends at the moment. Just haven't gotten around to trading because you can only trade so much with people. But I keep a lot of best friends to try and get stuff like that because it's pretty cool. So I think it might have been, at a quick glance, it was probably like 6 lucky friends right now. Maybe 7. That was, and the Kangaskhan, so don't let me forget that. So that was the Tropius and the Chatot. Here are the Kangaskhan. So the one I actually got in a lucky trade from a local. You probably saw me scroll through, but quickly, hatched from the event. My other one here, this one is one I hatched from the most recent event to try and get the shiny regionals. And this one is the one I was talking about where I got it in GoFest. She got it from one of the cons in Los Angeles, and up until recently I was friends with her still when we finally hit best friends, so I deleted her. But yeah, this was the very first one that I got, so I kept it. But normally, as you see, I usually only keep the lucky, and I kept this one for trades. So that should be those 3. Next we'll go ahead and look at my gym map again. So the Chicago ones, I believe, are these over here. Let me see. I think this bronze one I did like a Lugia raid at the one year. Oh, no, we defended it. Okay, yeah, this is the Willis Tower, aka previously the Sears Tower. Yep, Chicago. So those are the Chicago gyms. And I'm sure somewhere in these is like the airport or something. I can probably find it real quick for you. One of these I did a raid at. It was probably this one. Must have been near the hotel we stayed at last year. Yeah, not sure where the airport ones are, but there you go. So there's that. As far as ones close by in this cluster, these ones are probably from Orlando, but I don't have, you'll see I don't have any gold gems over here. This is just from visiting. Some of these are like Disney and stuff. This is actually in Universal. This is a really cool place if you ever are in Orlando, Florida. The Chocolate Emporium, they have a lot of really good desserts and whatnot. And I think they have a restaurant too. But yeah, nothing super exciting over there. So, again, it's not somewhere I go very often. It's about a 2-hour drive, so not a normal grinding spot there. Let's see. So yeah, a lot of these are, honestly, this whole cluster, this is probably Tampa. Yeah, this is Tampa. I used to work in Tampa. So I have a couple silver, no golds there though. It was pretty early on when I worked in Tampa when Pokemon Go was out, so I don't have any gold gems over there. But Tampa's actually only a 30-minute drive anyways. It's across a bridge, but I live in this area here. But none of these are more than 90 minutes away. In fact, as you see on the top end of the cluster that I'm zooming in here now, none of these are even gold. It's a lot closer to me. I've got a lot of silver there. Largo's like an okay place to trade, but as you get closer to me is where you start to see all the gold gems. And there's me right now. This is the one right by me that you can see from my house. You can see I was defending with Nidoking. There's my Nidoking. So that's what I like to call the home gym. Alright, now we want to look at latest and oldest traded with locations. Almost all of my trades are local. So here's my old ones. You see the oldest one I kept was the one from Chicago. I did also get a Volbeat there. Gentlemen, you can see it's even the same, well, the next day. because I don't think last year they allowed more than one special trade a day. So there you go. Needed this one to complete the collection. As you can clearly see, it's also from Spartan, because he was in Chicago from the first year based on the date, as you see there. And I know I mentioned that in my first video. So I believe these were some of the Larvitars I was trying to trade to get good IVs from Community Day. This is just a local we traded. So that's 4. This is actually when Lucky's first came out, I think. We were just trying to trade something old. Easy Cheese is my wife's account. A lot of my trades are with her, probably 60%. Maybe not as many anymore. 50 to 60% of my trades are probably with her. Just trying to get rolls on better stuff. So we were trying to get body slam ones. Unfortunately, I think this was before the IVs were good, but I still wound up being like decent. Similar, I got from our Las Vegas trip, she traded me an old Vaporeon. I'll actually quickly show you, because you'll see when we get to my old 100%s that I was in Vegas at around that time. This is my first day in Vegas, and Tiara is my wife, as I mentioned, in the Chris Angel thing. So if you want to add me to look at any proof of travel, feel free. I have pictures from Europe, because you had asked about countries I visited, and we actually did like about a week and a half travel, and I went to, most of these were 1 and 2 days, but we were in Copenhagen, Germany, France, and Ireland. So that was fun. So that's 6. I traded this one. A buddy of mine got this one for me from Tampa a while ago, and it happened to be lucky. Not a lucky trade, just very lucky, so I kept it. I don't really keep them otherwise. Early on, you can see trades I was just going for unknowns. This guy got his from Tampa as well. Like I mentioned, only a 30-minute drive. Got a lucky SmackDown one. I think I actually got this before the Community Day and evolved it so I could get the SmackDown. Nice Bluebies is actually one of my buddies I gym with a decent amount, so as you can see, I got a lot of trades from him. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these are the last 2. Unknown why. I don't know. I guess this was a guy that traveled. I really don't remember this trade, to be honest. It was just to complete the unknowns. He got it in Taiwan. I don't know. Local guy. I think he traveled some. I really don't remember. He said he had a Y. Traded for the Y. And then my last one, this one is from a buddy. He actually has family there and happened to travel. So I got that from him. This was just for the deck entry. I do have a lucky one just for point of interest. I'll find it real quick. And I'm pretty sure that one's from Spartan GL, as you can see. So, like I mentioned, I got a lot of stuff from him, just so that way I knew they were legit and not spoofed and that sort of thing. All right, 15 newest traded. Oh, maybe that was only 12 then. I apologize. 4, 7, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we got a couple more. Here's a Legacy Lapras I got from a friend local here. She caught it in Palm Harbor, which is about 40 minutes away. Again, unknown A. Yeah, to see this guy, he had traveled. I guess I had another unknown with him. And another one. So we swapped a bunch of unknowns to try and complete the deck. Since I had gone to Chicago in 2018, I had a bunch of letters he needed, and he obviously had a bunch that I needed. So I kept them just to show him off. And this is actually more than 15, but this was a friend of mine's daughter. I didn't have even as many Dragonites as I evolved early on. I never got one with Dragon Claw. I really wanted one, so I traded her a Mr. Mime from Europe for it. Was super stoked to get this one. Not great PvP stats, but I do use it for Ultra League because it's a lot of fun to use. All right, now we'll go up to the newest traded. I actually got this. I mentioned Easy Cheese was my wife. We got this just a couple days ago. Happened to get the, you can see it was a hatch, and I traded it. I try to help her with her lucky Pokedex too, and happened to get 100 Badoo, so I already evolved it, and I'll probably evolve it again here soon. I'll consider maxing it out, I guess. Lately, I've just been into the shinies and PvP stuffs, so I'll go newest to oldest for these 15. Just a local buddy of mine. I was hoping to get a non-lucky trade for use for PvP on this one. Didn't work out, as you can see there. Again, yeah, this is one of my gym buddies, like I mentioned. I am obviously not hatching a lot of eggs, but he has hatched some, so he traded me the lucky Cleffa, or the shiny Cleffa, so that I could get another shiny in the Pokedex. Again, he traded me this so I could try and get a good roll. I don't think this is the one I wound up powering. The stats were not the greatest for PvP, but it did max at 1500. Also got a lucky Clink from him, working on that Pokedex. So we'll sit there and trade a lot. Like you can see, a lot of these are from the same day for trading. So we'll be out doing gems, and in between driving, he'll sit there and trade for me. Another local guy was just trying to get good PvP rolls on this Sneasel. You probably, if you want to go back and look, you can see these people that are from some of the trades are all best friends. Like Valor for this trade here, he's a best friend, has been for a while. This one was Faith in the Light. He's a local, best friends for a while. And here he is again, Faith in the Light. It was a pretty good Cranidos, so I kept it. I think it was 96, yeah. Yep, Faith in the Light again, trying to get a PvP roll on the Burmese. Same. You can see they're local ones. This is that Valor guy again. From a while from a raid, trying to get PvP roll. Same, trying to get a Alolan Marowak. This one was from my wife. I don't remember why I kept this one. Maybe for Ultra League or something. I don't know. This one I actually just did a lucky trade. So I mentioned earlier the family with the 4 sons. Well, this is one of the sons had a lucky trade, and we swapped these Giratina. This one, unfortunately, was not very good. Faith and Light again, just trying to get a PvP roll. Same. Like, you know, you can see they're same play area as me, St. Pete, Largo, Pinellas Park. This is the one. Yeah, this was from a local. This wound up being the one I powered up for the Sinister League. How many is that? 3, 6, 9, 12. It's actually more than 15, so there you go. But these are just the Pokemon I've kept for traded. As you can see, I trade quite a bit, especially with local people. I mean, it's fun. Good feature, you know, so try to take advantage of that. Alright, and now we want the latest and oldest hundreds and latest and old Pokemon. Alright, so we'll do just the oldest Pokemon first. My latest Pokemon, this one I caught home spawn earlier. Woohoo! Always loving them Shieldon candies. And I was actually grinding Stardust last night. So a couple of these you'll see are from Pinellas Park, which is right here. And then some of them will probably be St. Pete as well, because that's where I was grinding. Yeah, I did some rocket stops, so there's a St. Pete one. St. Pete as well. How many was that? That was probably more than 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, that was 13. Okay, oops, oldest Pokemon. So I showed you the Vegas earlier because I can tell you that some of these are from Vegas. This one you can see is from St. Pete. It's from Tampa. So here's the Vegas one. Like I already showed you that. I didn't even know what IVs were back then, so I just kept them because they were from Vegas. But you'll see, you'll see some of these in the oldest 100% as well. But I was lucky enough to get some 100%. Like there's one right there. A lot of these from Vegas. I had a lot of fun in Vegas, so I tried to keep, you know, a decent amount. That was all of them, though. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only have 8 more from Vegas. So I've shown 9 Pokemon out of 12 so far, so there's 10. This one you can see is from Pinellas Park, which is near me. Pinellas Park and Largo. Alright, so now I'll do the 4-star ones. And I'll start with the oldest ones this time because you can see I was lucky enough to get these. Like I said, didn't even know what IVs were. I guess I should start that just in case. Didn't even know what IVs were at this time because Pokemon Go had only been out for about a month. I might have been level 25 or something around this time. So there's 2 of them. And you'll see a lot of these are local. That's from Pinellas Park. Probably could tell you fun stories about some of these. Tampa, St. Pete. Wound up getting a second 100% Nidoqueen. So I gave it a different move set. Had to max the one, of course. Maybe I'll use it for PvP sometime. I don't know. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but a lot of the old Pokemon, the lower on the Pokedex they were, the higher chance they had to be good IVs. So you saw, like, obviously some Evolutions and some Gyarados. Didn't even use maps. Just they were low enough on the Pokedex, and I was lucky. This one was a cool find. I've actually walked this one a bit, as you can see, either for certain events or just for candies when I was grinding for 40 back in the day. Had to keep it, of course. Haven't maxed it, but maybe one day I'll think about it. I usually prefer the candy for the evolves rather than maxing it out. This one was a really lucky one, too. This is actually another one of those we caught at a gym. I actually remember the gym because it was a restaurant. It's probably like 10 minutes from my house. And my buddy had a plus, and he plussed it, and I was like, that was 100%. And he's like, it ran. I was like, oops, sorry, man. So that was unfortunate. This one was my first 100% legendary. That was really cool when raids came out. That was probably actually more than 12, but I had to get to the Lugia. So there you go. And you can see that's St. Pete, which is local as well. Oh, and we need the newest ones. So let me go to the top. So you already saw the Lucky 100 trade. Got this one a couple days ago, grinding Stardust. Didn't even know it was in my bag, because I usually don't check the IVs. Same with this one. Just happened to plus them. This was actually a research one. I actually already have 100% Sableye. Got from a raid, I believe. Don't quite remember right offhand, but I figured I'd keep it. Again, plus, you can see that was from St. Pete. This one was actually a hatch, so I was like, I guess I'll keep it. Another plussed Pokemon. Didn't even know. Just going through, cleaning my bag. This is my wife's trade. She was working on the Lucky Dex, and I got a Lucky 100% Slowpoke, so I guess if that's ever good for anything. This was actually during the Alolan event, and I was going through my bag, and I was like, oh, look at that, 100% Alolan. I don't know if it's raid good or not, so I'll keep it for now. And this one was this might have actually been after Raikou Day. I don't remember what the date was on that, but I got really lucky with the 100 Raikou. Was super happy about that. And this one was actually research as well, I believe. Was that might have been, nope, that was one shy of 12, sorry about that. And this one's also from my wife. I don't know if this is good for anything, but maybe one day, we'll see. We'll keep it for now, I guess. So let me make sure that was everything you wanted. I believe it is. Looked at the gym map, the traded. I actually showed you more hundreds than you wanted to see, but totally fine with that. Latest and oldest Pokemon. Alright, so now I get to just chat a little bit about my journey. So, well, my playstyle has changed a lot. When I first started, I actually did not have a Pokemon Go Plus. I was very free to play. I only did the gyms, so the only money I really spent related to Pokemon was gas. And I'd go around and catch manually. Quick catch wasn't even a thing then, so it took a while, but I'd go and walk around because that was the easiest way to catch as much as possible and all that. People used to love sitting at lures. I definitely did that for the first 2 weeks. There were a bunch of local parks that always had a bunch of lures, both at night and during the day. People were crazy using those, so I would go and hang out and meet people. Wasn't as big of a deal back then since raids weren't really a thing, but it was still fun. I don't even think most of those people I'm friends with or know them, but some, I did. I actually met that family I was talking about while I was taking gyms locally, and we've been buddies ever since. Anthony is one of the guys I play with all the time. Not as much anymore because I have a 1-year-old, but even last night we went out and grinded Stardust for a few hours, so I do when I can. So I didn't have a plus. One of my buddies quit probably just after Raids came out. He has 3 kids, and he was like, hey, if you meet me, I'll just give you my plus. So I actually still have his plus from that, and so I never paid for one. And I started using it, and I was like, wow, this is actually really good. So I bought my wife one for Christmas so she could take advantage of it as well. And definitely no regrets. I use it all the time now. I get to drive around. While doing gyms, it's great because I can concentrate on battling the gym, and I just plus the Pokemon. That story I told you earlier about the Abra, that was 100% at a gym. I didn't have the plus then, so I was fortunate to not have to miss out. But now, you saw some of my recent hundreds, like the Skorupi. It was during that event where it was these things were everywhere, and I was trying to get PvP rolls, and I was like, oh, I have 100% Skorupi in my bag. Way cool. So, but now, yeah, I mean, when the new gym system first came out, like I mentioned, I was in Europe. If you want to look on my Facebook page, I've got pictures from all over. I was at the Jameson Distillery. It's probably my favorite drink of choice. In any event, the very first raid I did was a Gengar raid with me and my wife, 3-star. I don't even think I had but maybe a Tyranitar at the time. So we beat it, but it was really cool. And I was like, the gym badge thing is interesting. And then when I found out you got more items and more XP from the gold gems, I was like, well, I guess I should get on those. And the craze kind of took off from there. I kind of went gold gem crazy. I rated obviously at the ones that I could, and since so many of them were local, early on it was great. Actually, when probably a couple months into that, I got laid off from my job, and that's really when it took off for a while because, in between looking at job boards, I would, if I lost a gym, I'd go and take it back because it was a 3-minute, 5-minute drive, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. So as it began to get further and further away, I kind of took patches where I would slow down and speed up depending on if I wanted to make a goal or not. I was never able to verify, but if I wasn't the first in the world to get 100 gold gems, I was probably one of the very first people. I know I posted on Reddit and they deleted it because I didn't meet some kind of requirement. I don't remember, but I was just like, whatever, it's fine. I'm sure in maybe the 40 page, there's probably my post somewhere there too, and no one confirmed or denied if I was ever first or not. Not a big deal to me, but I enjoyed doing it, so I continued to do it. And as I mentioned in my previous video as well, I'm at 499 right now, working on 500, which is this one. Really hopeful. It's at if you know what a Tijuana Flats is, it's a restaurant. Looks like I'll be raiding there in just a little bit because we got a legendary egg. So I've been keeping an eye on it, trying to do raids. I'll use my 1 pass before doing Mewtwo's, and I'll probably buy a box because I've got some coins saved up from gymming, But lately too, another thing that kind of shifted my focus and slowed down on the gold gems, I really enjoy PvP and grinding friendship. So on a day like today, I work from home now. After I mentioned I got laid off, I wound up landing a job where I got to work from home. And so I got a lot of flexibility. I can go out during the day, spin a bunch of stops, and get gifts. In fact, I don't think I have any right now, but even just from last night, you can see at the bottom of my list, like I've already sent several today, and I'll probably go and send some more here soon. And that's when I generally plus to try and get Stardust for PvP and trades and that sort of thing. Again, like I said, I don't really use maps anymore because I don't really see the point. I can go and find a raid. When you're in gyms and you want to get rep at those gyms, I don't even really need to use the raid map. I'll just go to the gym, see if I need to golden berry it, And then if there's a raid, I'll go and raid at it. You know, this one right now is probably only about a 15-minute drive for me, so I'll wait till close to the egg hatch, and I'll watch it like a hawk, make sure no one tries to take it before the egg, since people like to do that. And in fact, I think that buddy that I told you about, Nice Bluebies, is in there with me, so I'm sure he'll help me keep an eye on it as well. This might be his Blissey. Yep, that's his Blissey right there. So he's not as big into the gold gems, but you know, he obviously gets them when he goes with me, and we go a lot and raid there or whatever. So because there's groups obviously local that I can raid with at certain gyms, but I have to like very often meet with a new group and try and let them know when there's raids if I need help. Obviously, like for this one, I'll have to tell a couple people like, hey, can you meet me here? Giratina, easy enough 3-man, so if there's people not working, I'll try and recruit them, and they understand that I go for the gym rep at the gyms. So but lately that's pretty much my biggest thing is I like grinding the PvP. I don't know if you saw on the most recent survey or not, but I am rank 13 world for Great League wins. I really enjoy doing the PvP daily. I would say probably less than a third of those are just quick interactions, but the rest of them I try to keep them legit when possible, because I feel like it's more prestigious. I could obviously sit here with my wife and just battle and rack up wins, but that's no fun. So just try to be legit in that way. The only countries I've visited outside of the US is Europe, like I mentioned earlier, Germany, Copenhagen, France. There's probably a picture of me in the Eiffel Tower on my Facebook page too, that sort of thing. But other than that, I've not done a ton of outside of the country travel, at least not when Pokemon Go's been out. I've been on a few cruises, but that was years before Pokemon Go was even thought of or known about, so not really pertinent. And I'd say that pretty much covers it. Like I said, I like to trade as well. I was maxing my trades every day a couple months ago for a while to get to 10,000, and I've slowed down quite a bit since then. I think I'm maybe just shy of 14,000 right now. I'll take a quick look. Let's see. And I've been trying to get the lucky Gen 5s, so I'm sure some of those lucky trades I'll say, hey, do you have a Litwick? Trade me a Litwick. Yeah, just shy of 14K. But I'll get there soon enough. It's not part of KP either, so it's not a big focus. I've been trying to work on that, and then, I heard about the slightly lowered requirement. I'm really close to 900 anyway. I think the last survey I was 871.9, something like that. Obviously, it's going to be tough for me to improve that a ton without being able to hatch a lot of eggs, because when you're free to play, you don't spend money on incubators. So I think I'm in the 30th percentile for egg hatches, but that's not obviously the focus of my game. I have other areas in which I focus, and I try to catch a lot of Pokemon. I know that's pretty low compared to some of the community, but considering early on I didn't have a plus or anything like that, and I do quick catch now when I can, it's pretty good. Been working on my evolves, trying to get to that 15K if I can, maybe 20K, haven't quite decided yet. But I guess that concludes my video. Obviously, if there's anything additional you need, please let me know, and I look forward to hearing back from you. Thank you so much. Bye.